to another episode of Cat Calls. That is, I'm Kat, I'm calling people, you are on the line, you're bringing your own questions. Torton Strike is loving the lipstick. I mean, the blue is such a vibe. That was winter. It was actually cold as fuck in that hot tub from the intro because it was winter and the hot tub had not been hot. And yes, Sales, I'm so glad that you're ready to binge this 90s TV show because this is just the beginning of our conversation and I need everyone to give a really big round of applause to today's guest. I need you to give it up for Ninajirachi! Yeah! Applause, we love Nina over here. I am so Oh, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? I turned the microphone off like an idiot, so I'm going to do the intro all over again. Okay, Nina's on the line, so I had to tell her what was happening. What I was saying was, today's guest, Ninajirachi, might be a real-life magical girl, okay? She accidentally turned the sound off. Okay, I see. Also, papaya wax. Thank you for the fucking heads up about my muted microphone. Nina is one of those artists that just reeks of sonic confidence. There's a deftness to her production, and when you find out she's only like, I think 22 now, you're just kind of like, what the fuck? Is this all she's been doing, crafting textures in fantasy lands for like, since she was 12, okay? She's gifted with the talent to create space for both gentle atmospheres and violent percussion on the same song, which, if you're a longtime friend of mine, you know I'm just a sucker for anyone who can create a dichotomy of grace and force at the same time. She's very, very sweet and fun. I can already tell from our practice call yesterday that this is going to be a great show. And she's a Maddie-On fan, and she's seen the Cat Calls with Maddie-On, so you know she already gets a big crown in my book. I am totally susceptible to flattery. It gets you everywhere. And her eyeliner game is on like 100,000. She's just really great at the eyeliner. You guys, don't take it from me though, okay? I'm going to show you how elf queen-like she can be. I'm going to play for you the visualizer for her absolutely massive tune, Start Small. It's a single from her upcoming debut EP, Second Nature, coming out on Nina Las Vegas's label in just a few weeks. And we're gonna jump into this Forest Majesty, and when we come back, I'm gonna have Ninajirachi on the line, and my microphone's gonna work, and you're gonna have your questions ready, because this is your show as much as it is my show, and I'm so happy to have you all here. Enjoy Start Small. Start small, you know, just like have a small little bite, little amuse-bouche. When we come back, we'll have the whole meal. And be seen now, because little did you know, she's been hanging out on the side of my Streamlabs basically since the show started. So, and Swedish Tay Music is saying hello, and Torton Strike was just like living for Start Small, and Camoufly Beat says hello, and Lol's one is so excited for today's show, and Papaya Wax said that you will be an absolute legend in 5 years. So I don't know, you might be an absolute legend already, but there's always room to grow. So just wanted to make sure you started today's show off and your Friday morning with words of encouragement. And what do they call that when you say something nice to yourself?
Affirmation?
Thank you. Yes. we're sending you good affirmations into the future in Australia. Or any Australians?
Thank you.
Any Australians in the chat? Shout out if it's also Friday morning for you. But I didn't bring you onto the show to just scream in your face, I brought you onto the show so that you can also participate in talking. And I would love to hear you talk all about the Start Small visualizer that we just watched. You have told me a couple times now that that is your favorite video, maybe your favorite song of the new batch of tunes that are about to come out. Why? Why is that one so meaningful for you?
Well, I think the petroleum video is probably my favorite visual, but I think Start Small is my favorite song so far, just because it's probably the most recent, and for any producers or any person who makes anything in here will understand that sometimes you make things and then they don't come out for 2 years. So by the time they come out, you're kind of over them. Whereas, and I'm not over any of this music that's coming out. I'm very proud of it and I love it. But Start Small, I only made in December last year, and then it came out in May. So it was just the shortest kind of gap between making and releasing. And because of that, it still felt very fresh and still does. And I also just think it's one of my most unique songs. Like, I really can't think of anything that sounds like it. And then that's the reason I wanted to make a video for it. Even though the video is nothing crazy, it's nothing flash. Like, I made it with my boyfriend shot it, and then I edited it. And he's an amazing videographer, so it's like, it was very easy to work with him. And because like, when you put out a song that you like, you don't want to just post the cover art, because then no one really engages with it, or some people might not be inclined to check it out. But when there's a nice video, more people are sometimes. So that's why I wanted to kind of go the extra mile for this song, because I'm really proud of it. I really love it. So thank you for playing it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. First of all, I can just sense all of your passion for what you do and for this song as you're speaking about it. And I totally relate to everything you're saying. I was just telling you about how I put this vlog together, and there's like such a high that you get off of just making something that you're really proud of. And I'm glad that you were able to release this song pretty quickly, because I was just talking to another artist earlier today, shout out Patlock, and I was like, oh, I love your new EP that's coming out. And he was like, oh, thank you. You're the first person who's given me feedback on it, but it's so funny, I made it like, forever ago, and you almost like forget, and it's like nice to have this feedback, but like, I'm on some other shit now. And that's such a crazy part of what you do as producers and artists and musicians, like the sitting on things forever. Also, shout out those editing skills, girl. Like, I just edited a video. I know all about that shit. That's hard shit.
Thank you. I was an iMovie kid. I was like on my mom's Mac when I was in school making iMovie.
Hell yes. So, hell yes.
It's coming in handy eventually, a few years later.
No, listen, I totally feel that too. I was a kid, so I think there's probably about a decade that I was being a weird anime computer kid, and then you came and became a weird anime computer kid, and so like, we have that in common. But like, I was like heavy into LiveJournal. Have you ever heard of LiveJournal?
I don't think so.
It was this like kind of like a blog platform, but like mostly for teenagers who were on the computer more than they went outside. And like, it taught me like really basic like HTML, and like, I look back on that period as a kid and I'm like, oh my God, I was doing what I grew up to do, and I had no idea that's what I was doing. I was like in this weird little like journo school for myself, and so I totally relate. I'd love to hear more about the silly little projects that you're making on iMovie on your mom's computer. Like, do tell the world.
Oh my God, I honestly like, my mom's, this particular computer of my mom's, this particular Mac, is kind of died, but she still has it in storage.
R.I.P.
So it's.
I carry all my old laptops. I don't get rid of any of them. They've got all the good Bloghouse downloads, so I can't get rid of them.
Yeah, literally. But it's one of those, because when I was a child, I didn't know about exporting, so I would just make the video in iMovie.
Stop! Wait! Tell me you then filmed it.
I didn't even do that. Sorry, excuse me. I've got this croaky throat at the moment. The only ones I burnt, a few of them I burnt to discs, because I would make music videos with my, I was like really into the pop girls when I was a kid, so I would make music videos for Lady Gaga, Dance in the Dark, did one for that.
Yes.
Your Love Is My Drug by Kesha, Lily Allen 22.
These are all
just, like,
jams. Certified jams, by the way. Yeah.
So good, yeah. It's like all music like that. I did so many. I did some more Kesha ones, some more Lady Gaga ones. Alejandro, I did an Alejandro one. And sometimes I would get my friends to be in them. And this is when I was like literally like 10 to 12 years old. Like,
I'm living for this story.
And sometimes I'll get my friends to come over and film them because like it's really, you know how it is. Sometimes it's hard to film yourself. You want to set up the shot and be in it. And sometimes I couldn't. So I would get my friend to do stuff instead. And then I would export it and burn it to a disc so I could give it to them. But aside from those, like a lot of the ones I made by myself, they just lived in iMovie because I would make the project and be like, cool, it's done. And I wouldn't think to like export it. So I'm really hoping that one day we can resurrect my mum's old computer and all those projects are still in there untouched, but it's a bit doubtful. Like, I don't know how well that kind of stuff ages. But anyway, that's what I used to do when I was a kid, before I found GarageBand.
So before you found GarageBand, I see. There was a process. We were just going through all of the preloaded Mac programs and finding our calling.
Yeah, exactly. You know how it is.
I do. I totally get it. Everyone in the chat is shouting classics to all of these jams, by the way. We've got a lot of little monsters in the chat as well. So shout out all the little monsters. Shout out Lady Gaga. I think that you should try to resurrect those videos, and you should find a way, and of course, choose to do whatever you want, but I think you should find them all and like cut them up into your own weird like music video that's like all your old shit. I don't know, it would be so cute.
Yeah, it would be so funny. And even just like, I'd love to see the fits I was wearing, because it would just be like such 2000s, early 2010s, like little Australiana teeny bopper girly outfits. But like, yeah, I wasn't a very fashionable kid, so I think, but I would try to dress up because I was like shooting a music video.
Yeah.
So yeah, I need to find them.
Okay, so many things that I want to follow up with you on there, but I'll start at the beginning. You just said it. 2010s, early 2000s, Australiana, first of all, is a word that I just learned, so thank you for that one. Teeny bopper, like, what was life like? I'm dying to visit Australia. I've never been to Australia. I really am called to visit, but talk to me about your childhood there. Like, what were you into when you weren't making music videos, and what were the fashions of the mid 2000s, 2010s when you were a teeny bopper, and were you going outside and exploring the world, or were you just living on your mom's MacBook? Like, tell me all about it. What were you living for as a teenager in Australia?
Well, pretty much the latter. I wasn't. I spent a lot of time online. So I'm 23. So I kind of grew up with computers and games a lot. Like, that was just sort of always part of my life, probably from like when I became sentient, basically.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Like, what's your earliest memory of using the internet? Oh, you froze a little bit.
Oh, am I back?
You're good. Yep.
Okay, sorry. I guess earliest memory is probably Neopets. I was big into Neopets. That was probably
Me
like
too.
my first. Yeah, I loved Neopets so much. Hannah in the Ice Caves and Hannah in the Pirate Caves was like, yeah, my fave.
Amazing.
So that was probably my like earliest foray.
I saw this hilarious meme that was like, your Neopets are starving, by the way. Like, what did you do? You abandoned them. And I felt it like so deep in my soul.
Oh no, yeah, it's pretty sad. Because you know what, oh sorry, did I freeze again? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. The sound has never gone out. It's the video's a little...
Oh, sorry. As long as you can hear me.
As long as we can hear you, that's what matters most, yeah.
I saw this thing, because I actually, a few years ago, went back onto Neopets, because I was like, that was so fun. I'm going to play it again. And I went back on there, and they've updated the situation. So now, if you don't log in every 24 hours, your Neopets like abandon you or something, because it stops them from starving or something like that. So I guess that became a bit of a like
fail-safe. Oh my god, it was an ethical issue for the digital pets. I'm here for that. Our robot friends are going to be real one day and demand equal pay, and I'm here for it. So you know what? Protect your digital pets. They're people too.
Yeah, 100%. But that was definitely, I think, I don't know, there was maybe something earlier than that. But that was probably my first big memory of spending a lot of time on the internet. But I also, I'm not from the city in Australia. I'm from the Central Coast, which is a couple hours north of Sydney. So it's kind of more of like a regional beachy area. Like it's not very built up and stuff like that. So it's very like small towny kind of thing. Like when you're in high school, everyone knows people from other schools and everyone kind of knows everyone. And I live in Sydney now because obviously there's a lot more music stuff to do here and like shows, and there's no dance or electronic music, zero, like on where I'm from. Like all of
okay. Not in Sydney. I was like, whoa, shocking.
Oh, no.
Big news if true. Like I was pretty sure they were into that stuff over there.
Oh, no. Sydney's fantastic. Sydney's great. Just like where I'm from, it's like kind of, if there's not a whole lot of music culture, if there is, it's kind of like surfy rock bands, like that's kind of the thing where I grew up. So all of my exposure and my getting into electronic music was from the internet, so like YouTube. It was first YouTube, and then I like got Twitter, and then I spiraled from there.
Oh yeah, he spiraled. We're all still there on the downward spiral. Like we're all a part of it. Okay, Torn Strike has a question. Also, I'm gonna say this out loud. She says, first off, good day. How are you going? Which I assume is Australian. And then says, second, what acts got you into electronic music and who are your biggest influences? And that fits right into what we're saying. What electronic act did you stumble on YouTube or Twitter, or how did it all happen?
Well, I think it was, honestly, I think the genesis really was being into those dance pop girls when I was
totally.
child.
Oh my god. Kesha was way making like all that fuck Dr. Luke and everything, but like all that Dr. Luke production was heavy influenced by the dance music that was coming out at the time, for sure. So yeah.
100%. Yeah, so that was like how I think that was my subconscious, that was like ingrained into me, I guess. And like even Lady Gaga, Born This Way album, like all of that music, and even like Katy Perry, E.T. and Rihanna,
yeah.
S&M. Like, you know what I mean?
These are all jams, girl. Like I'm living a club experience in my mind every time you say another song. I'm just like, yes, okay.
Yeah, I think just because that was what I was listening to when I was like like literally a child, and then so when I got to high school, I started using YouTube, and I would just actually, you know what? The first time I really found electronic music was I found a Madeon song, and it was in the background of a video tutorial on how to tie-dye denim shorts.
Oh my god,
and I was
sick. What a cool moment you were living. First of all, you were tie-dyeing your denim shorts. Love that. Second of all, I love that you were like, what is this song playing in the background of this tutorial? Shout out the tutorialist for having good taste.
Yeah, literally. And I didn't realize at the time that was gonna be such a life-changing moment for me. So I just looked at the comments and I was like, what is this song? What is this song? It was actually pop culture, like the
I'm
Launchpad
so
mashup.
curious about that, especially given like all these other songs that you're referencing. Like, God, we all bow down to pop culture. That was itself a pop culture moment. Incredible.
Literally. Yeah, for real. And then I was like, who's this Madeon guy? And then I just went from there. And then I found like Paul Robinson and Zed but before he was making really pop music, like Zed EDM era.
I have like one day I feel very called to write an essay or maybe even a whole book about how like you could track Zed and Porter Robinson's careers, and they like tell the whole story of like EDM. Like they were both these like protege kids that came out when they were like 16, and then like Zed went the big pop star route, and Porter Robinson's still basically a pop star, but he like did the very like, I'm gonna do it my way, you know, like I don't know, it's interesting. Anyways, continue.
Yeah, no, totally. It's so true though. And so like they were my favorite artists, and like obviously Skrillex was like massive when I think Bangarang came out when I was like 11 or 12, so that was like that era. Yeah. And then so that was what I was listening to, and by that point I had already like done my garage band thing, like just I would like record myself because I played the clarinet in the band.
Me too! Oh my god, yes! Clarinets unite! Shout out!
So good. I mean, I only played played it for 2 years, but I just would, because I played piano, and then my music teacher was like, do you want to be in the band? And I was like, sure. And then she's like, okay, here's a clarinet. So
amazing.
I did it for like 2 years. So I would just record that into GarageBand and then put like an Apple stock drum loop over it and be like, I made a song.
Yeah.
And then, so I was already doing that. And then when I found all of this, like electro house music, I guess, around that time, I was like, oh, I want to make this. So I just looked up what software does Porter Robinson use, and
what was it? Was it Fruity Loops? Was it FL
FL
Studio?
Yeah, it was FL Studio, and then I used that for about 5 years. Not very, like I just would watch YouTube and be like, it was very slow progress.
YouTube Universe, of course, yeah, because you're not a robot who can just, or like the Matrix, you can't just like download all the info at once, yeah.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, but it was also just like this little hobby in school that I had, and I would make beats every now and then. And I use Ableton now, but I feel very like a loyal kinship to FL Studio in a way, because all the first music I released was made on that as well.
That's so cool. Oh my God, did you were you sharing your talents with the world, with your friends at school? Or was it still just, I'm just going to burn this to a disc and listen to it by myself? Like, when did it go from, okay, this is a hobby, to, okay, I will share this talent with the world, as opposed to your music videos that stayed in the
vault.
Yeah, in the vault. Yeah. That's the word I was looking for, thank you.
Yeah, they were in the vault. I guess because I was always, okay, I think when I was in year 7, like, okay, I know high school is different in the US, but basically in Australia we have kindergarten to year 6, which is like 12 years old, is primary school, and then year 7 to 18, like year 7 to 12, when you're 18, that's high school. So like from the first year of high school, I think I made a SoundCloud account and I started putting things on there, but it wasn't like, I wasn't trying to be like, I wasn't trying to get people to hear it. It was more just because I was like, oh cool, I can put this on here and then I can send someone a link, and that's an easy way to share it, I guess. So I was just doing that, and I wasn't showing anyone but like my friends, and then I would send in my friend group chat like, hey guys, I made a new Iggy Azalea remix. And then,
yes.
Sorry, excuse me.
That's fine.
Yeah, I would just send them that, and that was the easiest way to share it, I guess. Yeah, and then I guess they just, like, the beats just got a little better and better and better. And then when I was in year 10, so I was like 15 or 16, someone from a community radio station, a really big community radio station in Sydney called FBI Radio, found something I did, and they were like, oh, we want to play this on air. And I was like, cool, like, this is awesome. So that happened, and then my first manager just found me on SoundCloud. I hadn't, like, officially released anything. I was, like, literally 16 or 17, just like putting things online, and then my first manager helped me release songs officially, and then so that my first release was when I was 17, with the help of that manager. So yeah, that was the journey. So random.
I know, that's so crazy. That's so amazing that this community radio station found you. Like, that's like real community shit right there, where they're like, oh, we want to like find talented voices in our backyard. I don't know. Is that just like Australia's vibe? Like, is it very like good about really, that? Yeah.
It really is. There's like really good grassroots music communities here for like every genre. Like some are bigger than others, but FBI Radio in particular is like the big Sydney community radio station, but it's big in other cities as well. And they do such amazing good work, and they support like all of my releases. They have really good quotas for how much local music they have to play.
And that's cool.
Yeah, it's such an amazing station and community, and they do really cool events and parties, and yeah, there's a lot of that stuff.
That's so rad.
Yeah, it's really great.
It's so funny because I know, everyone here won't know, but yesterday we were talking about public access, or what you said, free to air is kind of called over there, and like, we do have like college-run radio stations here in the States, but to even hear you say like, oh, there's a quota for how many local acts they're gonna play on the air, I'm just like, what a cool concept! Like, I would love that to happen here in the United States. But I guess we're so big. I don't know. We have the internet, but things can get lost on the internet. So it's so cool to know that there's this like baked in system where you are from to like elevate cool voices such as your own. That's so dope. Also, it's so dope that like you I'm always impressed or impressed and also just like amazed. It's hard. It probably isn't even something you can comment on, but like what a crazy thing to be coming into your own as a human. You're a teenager. You're like figuring out who you are and how you want to be in the world and both present and act and the things you believe. And then you're also like coming into your own as an artist. Like that seems like doing double duty.
Yeah, it was really hard, honestly, because I went to an academically selective high school, like on where I'm from, and it's fun. It was like still a public school, but it's like one of the only ones kind of like it in that I know of, like around where I'm from. But it was really hard because they were very. It's kind of this unspoken thing when you go there, like, oh my god, are you going to be like a doctor or a lawyer? So it was like that kind of pressure, I guess. But so I didn't feel like I was really enjoying putting out my first music because it felt like, when you have to study for something, and if you do anything else you feel guilty about it. So like working on music and this song was doing really well. It was like #1 on like viral Australia Spotify and stuff, and but I couldn't like enjoy it because I was so stressed. So once I finished high school and like actually allowed myself to indulge in my career.
Right? Yeah, I know. It's so funny, right? Like they're all like, "This is for your future," and they're not wrong. Like everyone stay in school. It's the best. All that stuff. But like, yeah, you're like, I'm doing a thing. I'm finding things are working for me over here. Congratulations on being able to manage both. That's crazy. What would you have picked, doctor or lawyer? What would it have been?
Lawyer.
Yeah, lawyer? You know what?
Neither, but like, yeah.
Lawyer is probably a good choice as a musician. A lot of entertainment weirdness and contracts and things. Probably good to be a little up on your thing. Jordan Strike says lawyer is right. There's a lot of funny things happening in the chat. I'll get to you, chat. We'll get to you. Talk to me about Heartbreak High. What's Heartbreak High, and if I watched it, would I get a good sense of what it was like for you being a teenager?
Yeah, I think so. Honestly, like, I have to be honest, I haven't watched all of it yet. I've only watched...
Well, I haven't watched any of it yet, so you've got me beat. You can be an expert as far as I'm concerned.
I've been meaning to watch it, but, like, I have a song in episode 4, so I've only watched episode 4.
Oh, that's amazing. I love that you were just like, nah, go to my part. Fast forward.
It was my first Netflix sync, so I just was like, oh my god.
Which is huge. Congratulations.
Yes. Thank you. So I just kind of skipped through to find the part that my song was in, only because I just am so time poor at the moment, but I will watch it because it is a bit of a cultural moment here in Australia. But
tell me about it. Yeah, what is it? Yeah, okay, so from what you're hearing.
From what I'm hearing, it's kind of like an Australian Euphoria, but less intense on the sex and drugs kind of stuff. A little bit more family friendly. Just from what I'm hearing, but I haven't seen it.
That's what someone in the chat is saying too. They're saying Australian Euphoria. How interesting.
Yeah, which is because like they've got amazing kind of cinematography and lighting and colors and outfits and the glitter makeup and all of those kinds of things.
Okay.
But the reason it's so cool is because a lot of the soundtrack is Australian music, and a lot of the casting is very diverse in a non-corny way, if that makes sense.
It does.
And they've also, maybe like actual Indigenous Australians could speak to this better, but they've done a lot of cool representation of parts of Indigenous Australian culture as well in there, which is like not seen a lot in mainstream media. Someone who's actually Indigenous could again speak more to that, but that's like a big kind of part of it as well. I think that's another reason why people think it's so cool and important. But yeah, I'm excited to watch it. I haven't yet, but it's amazing that it's like having a moment overseas as well. That's really sick.
Yeah, well, I'm excited to watch it as well. I feel like I've been put on, and I think you did a wonderful job of luring our interest and leaving some room to, I don't know if you had Reading Rainbow in Australia, but they were always big on but don't take my word for it. And then it'd be like, ba-dum-bum, and I think about that every day. Anyway, like that's what everyone go watch Heartbreak High. So cool. So it sounds like you landed with a pretty good team, people that were supportive of you, especially in this moment where you're like young, up and coming artist. But I first heard about you and your work when you started linking up with Nina Las Vegas, and she is a huge supporter of you and your career. And I would love to hear how that relationship happened and what you've learned from working with her. Your mixtape's coming out on her label, right?
Yeah, it is. She is the best person.
Yay, we love Nina Las Vegas.
Literally, yeah, love her so much. Like, obviously, as a DJ, as an artist, as a producer,
so talented,
unparalleled.
Yeah.
But as like a human and music industry figure in Australia and in the world, she is just like one of the best. She is so selfless and giving and generous and transparent and honest and so supportive. And I honestly, like, meeting her was such a little fork in the road in my life and career, because when I won't like talk too much about it, but when I met her, I was like almost about to sign another label deal. And I don't think, in hindsight, I think the other one wouldn't have suited me very much. And I was 18 at the time, so I don't have any family in entertainment or like music or anything, so I didn't know anything, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just would have gone with this, and it may not have suited me down the junction, especially because the music I make, especially in Australia, and at the time especially, was like very left of field. So
which I love, but yes, is a daring thing to do for sure.
Thank you. Yeah, I think just eventually I would have been misunderstood there, and I was literally about to like enter into this thing, and then Nina, because obviously she is so tapped in and so has her finger on the pulse of everything that's going on in Australia and in the world. She had heard like my song that had been on the radio the year before, and my name is Nina, obviously, as well. And so,
yeah, right. You already had the Nina connection, so you know.
Exactly. And like, I was a fan of her, so when it was like one of my first times going out after I turned 18. I went to her show on the Central Coast. Yeah, like in my hometown. And she was like, we should make a song. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna like pass out.
Are you just dying, gushing? Oh my god, I would have died.
Yeah, for real. So then we did. I ended up going to her house and we made this song called Thursdays that was on her EP. And then I was showing her music that I was working on, and she was like, I would love to sign this. And it just felt like the perfect thing. So that was how we started working together. And that was, in my first year out of high school. So it was just the most amazing, serendipitous timing. And she is just the best. Like, she has been so helpful to me with so many things. She's like my music industry big sister. And like anyone who works with her is just like so blessed.
Yeah.
Love for Nina.
I'd love to hear that. I'd love to hear if there's been any bits of wisdom that she shared with you that you find yourself thinking of often. And also, Torden Strikes asking, what should young artists look out for when looking for a team or management as an artist? Is there anything that you've come to learn or wisdom that you'd like to impart because of that story you just shared with us? Not like, about one versus the other, but like, what have you been able to learn in the last 5 years since making that decision?
Oh my god, so many things.
Yeah, I bet. Every day is a new. So you thought you were done with school, but you actually just jumped into the next phase of life. It's always about learning.
Literally, yeah. And I know that in the US there's kind of things over there that you guys have where like you can actually go to study after school music industry related stuff, and it's like credible and like will actually land you a job in those industries because there's so much infrastructure for it there. But Australia is so small, and the music industry here is not very big, so you can't really learn how to be an artist or like work it. You know what I mean? You can't really like be like, I'm gonna go to uni and do like
I'll do
this.
entertainment law, or like I'm gonna learn sound engineering, or like even I know in LA there's that really big Icon Collective school where they literally just like teach you how to produce music and things. Like, you know, that is a wild thing actually at the end of the day.
Totally. I mean, there's definitely stuff like that in Australia. Like you can definitely still study those things, but it's just because the industries are so small. I think it's like a lot. I don't know. I've also haven't gone through one of those education systems, but like I think just because the industry's so small, maybe it's like a bit more like competitive or something. Anyway, basically what I'm saying is like it's really hard to go and learn how to like be an artist or any of those things. So it's been a lot of learning by doing. But I think like my favorite thing that Nina has taught me is just how to be like a little bit tougher and more assertive. Especially
as a lady in any fucking, I mean, lots of people struggle with that, right? But I certainly know that I've had to learn that lesson as well, and I didn't mean to stop you from talking, but
no. Like,
just preach.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and like especially just having like entered into a lot of these agreements when I was an 18-year-old girl, I was very meek, you know what I mean? And so I think the best thing I've learned from you is just being a little bit tougher with that kind of stuff, I guess. And I mean, I guess in terms of like what to look out for, I don't know what to say. I don't know if I'm like the best person to be giving this kind of advice, but I have a very good relationship with my intuition and my gut. So I just like to trust that. And if something feels like it doesn't have my best interests at heart, I kind of have a funny feeling about it. So I don't know if that's very helpful, but maybe I guess a good thing to do could be develop that relationship with your intuition, maybe.
Totally.
I don't know.
No, I think that is really good advice, and I think that's great that you have come to have that relationship with your intuition and to recognize those things, because again, I still am internalizing a lot of that. You know, sometimes you're like, oh, but I don't know, and it's like, girl, you know, like, come on now, like, let's be real. So you're doing great. And this is kind of sliding off of the conversation a little bit, but I want to make sure I ask Kukin's question. Do you have plans to come to the United States and play any shows anytime soon? You've got a mixtape coming out, so maybe there are some tour dates.
Yeah, maybe. I can't really say. I mean, I'm actually coming to the US in like less than 2 weeks, but it's more of like a whole, like I'm going to Graham Halloween and Second Sky. Like it's more of a fun.
Oh my god, so fun! You're going to Second Sky. I went last year. I wanted to go. See, then I went to Portola, and I was like, can I do both? But if for some reason I just say fuck it and I go to Second Sky, I will come and say hello, and I will force you to be in my Second Sky vlog if I go.
Oh yes, that would be amazing. Please let me know. We'll stay in touch about it.
Yeah. Oh my god, you're gonna love it. Second Sky is amazing.
So
I had such an incredible time, and the crowd is so nice because it's just like a bunch of Porter Robinson fans who are just like cute and like dressed cute and like sweet, and like everyone cries during I cried during Porter Robinson, and there was another girl who was definitely crying. We were crying. It was great. Anyway, enjoy. So excited for you. Oh wow.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, I don't know about shows anytime soon. I can't say anything about that, but I will be in the country having fun sometime.
As you deserve. Deserve. And you never know, like, that's the crazy thing too about being an artist, and especially if you're coming to the California area, like there's so many artists that you can link up with, and maybe you do something creative together, or maybe you just have that opportunity to like talk to your peers. Like obviously I'm sure you have a community that you're tapped into in Australia, but like you're saying, it's smaller than the community here. So I hope that you just make the most of that time too, and just live your best life.
100%. And I'm so grateful to like the US and even just like international in general kind of online community that I've found to kind of like be friends with through my music, especially just because it's like it is so small in Australia, and I have like my best friends here as well, obviously. But so grateful for my online friends, and I can't wait to meet them all one by one as I travel eventually.
That's so exciting. Okay, so Qkin's also asking, are you influenced by PC music or hyperpop at all? I know hyperpop is a term that's getting thrown around a lot around you these days. Hukin sensing maybe some influences there, some elements from the PC Music kind of crew, but you fuck with PC Music, girl? You bout it?
Yeah, 100%. Like, you can go back to my radio, like my DJ mixes from like 2016, and I've been playing Sophie.
Yes. Oh my god.
Like, that's,
the literal queen, the icon, the fucking, the one. Like, R.I.P. forever and ever. We fucking love you, Sophie. Oh,
literally.
I know.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, but short answer, 100%. If you have been like kind of following me for a while, like especially in Australia, there's a. I feel like I was kind of on that sound here before a lot of people. So if you go back and check out like my earlier kind of work and mixes and stuff, you'll kind of see that influence all through it. And
she's like, I was on Hyperpop. You're like, I was on Hyperpop when I was making my own Lady Gaga music videos on my mom's MacBook. Like, it doesn't get any more Hyperpop than that, bitch. Like, we are out here. You need to dig up these videos so we can see these outfits, queen.
Oh,
like,
I know.
I meant to say that too. And then I want to talk about Second Nature. We have to talk about Second Nature. But when you were like, I was not a fashionable kid, I was like, which I can get. I was not a super fashionable kid either, and now I just like look like a rainbow threw up on me all the time. But I love your style now, and I was like feeling a kinship in the like, I like to dress up in really fun colors and funky like fun things because I kind of wish I lived in a cartoon world, and like if I can be more like a cartoon person, then like the world becomes a little bit more of like my fantasy every day. And I feel like you are also like living the fantasy that you wish was your real life, especially, and of course you dress up for the videos and things like that, but like I don't know, is that your approach?
Yeah, 100%. I love to play pretend and dress up like my favorite characters. It's so much fun. I mean, that's kind of what I was doing when I was a kid as well. I just wasn't executing it very
right, yeah. You were doing the 13-year-old version, which is like very normal and good.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, definitely, I think we're on the same wave there. And also, your style is great.
Oh, thank you.
It's amazing.
No, I mean, listen, I love it. I do it every day. My favorite is people will be like, oh my god, your such and such matches your such and such. And I'm always like, well, the key is to wear every single color all of the time, and then it just looks like you're matching magically. And really, you're just like, well, I can't fuck this up. Like, it just...
That is perfect. It's like you've got it right now as well. Like your hair and your top, they are perfectly matched. It's amazing.
Thank you. I did think about it a little bit. I knew I was going to be on camera today.
Oh, nice.
Camera always adds to the fun. Camufly Beats redeemed Request a Fun Fact, and because you are here, and I keep saying that we need to talk about Second Nature. Second Nature being the title of Nina's debut mixtape coming out on November 11th on NLV Records, getting all the facts right. Congratulations on that upcoming celebratory moment. And I will request a fun fact about the making of Second Nature. That is a very vague and open-ended thing to say because we have not started talking about it yet.
Fun fact. I'm trying to think of like, because obviously I have a million facts, but I'm trying to think of one that's particularly like fun or
what might be a little secret, like were there any particular samples that you threw in there that you were really excited about, or like, oh, you'll never guess that? I don't fucking know. You're the one who knows the facts.
Yeah, there's a song on there called, it's more of an interlude, but there's a song on there called Tiang Keng, and I hope I pronounced that correctly, but it's a Chinese word that kind of roughly translates to heavenly pit, and it's the name for a particular kind of geological land formation that happens commonly a lot in China. Basically just like a giant natural sinkhole, like kilometers wide and kilometers deep, and they find inside them a lot of the time that the ecosystems have developed completely differently to the rest of the landscape around. And I had a sample in there for a while of a Tian Kang documentary because I was getting pretty into it. But then I had to take it out because I couldn't use it. But I kept the title, so that's a little fun fact.
Nice. You should share the documentary on your Twitter or something. Be like, little did you know, like.
No, I did.
Oh, you did.
I I tweeted it because they weren't getting back to me. I was trying to like clear the sample and they weren't replying. So I was like, and then the video stopped being available in Australia. So I tweeted the YouTube link and I was like, guys, international people, can you see this video? And some said yes, some said no.
Wow.
So maybe, I don't know what was going on there. But
that's crazy.
I didn't tell them it was for a sample though.
Oh, that's so crazy. Was it a Chinese documentary as well? Like,
no, there were local Chinese geologists in it, but I think it was mainly an American cave data.
Interesting.
That was like his kind of thing.
Yeah, because I just wonder if like, you know, China's got weird internet. So like, I wonder if maybe that's why all of a sudden it went offline.
True.
But you never know. Have you been to China?
No, I would love to go to China.
Man.
I'd love to go there. Yeah.
When you do go, do not skip going to see the Yellow Mountains. I literally wept. They're so beautiful. Like, it was the one time.
Really?
I'm a sentimental person. I cry, like, a lot, I guess. Like, you know, weird little, like, oh my God, some beautiful type tears. Yeah, but, like, actually, like, I don't often do that just in the wild. And I was like, this is amazing. So don't miss that. And you'll have to go Tia King. I don't know. I don't even see it in front of me, so I might be saying it wrong. But you have to go see one of those.
Yeah, definitely. That's like on my literally top 3. If I could just travel to like 3 more places in my life, that's on the list for sure.
What else is on the list?
Oh my God. Probably like northern Scandinavia and southern South America, I think. But there's so many places. I can't decide.
I gotta see them all. I know. That's how I feel. I was so fortunate. I got to spend a few years just doing the digital nomad thing before COVID happened, and I was working remotely and I was traveling, and most of the time I just stayed with friends and family, which was amazing because I got to spend so much time with people that I wouldn't have otherwise. But I did get to take a few really cool trips, like all around Asia, through the UK, like, and I got to go to Morocco for 24 hours, so I technically have been to Africa, but now I'm like, and I've been to Brazil for a few days, so I've technically been to South America, and now I'm like, I gotta do it. I gotta hit all 7 continents. Like, I gotta go to Australia, girl. Like, I gotta hit these continents.
Yeah, you should come for a trip. It's so beautiful here. Yes. I love living here. It's amazing.
I definitely want to see it. But back to Second Nature, it's a mixtape. Why isn't it an album? Why isn't this your debut album?
It's just a little bit inconsistent, I think. I mean, the songs, I think they sound good together. Yeah. But they also kind of blend together a little bit. Like, it's meant to be kind of one long listening experience.
Cool.
There's a few of them where, like, I couldn't work out a transition, so it just, the song finishes and the next one starts. But most of them kind of work together. It's also, it doesn't feel very, I don't know, I feel like an album's meant to be kind of written as one piece and about one kind of concept, and this doesn't really feel like that. The oldest song on here was made in 2019, and then I made some this year, so they're just a bit scattered. There's a lot of different themes. Yeah, I just felt like a mixtape was appropriate for it, I guess.
I love that response. I totally appreciate that. I am such a fan of the art form of the album as well, and I know that we live in different times maybe where, because of streaming platforms and the way that people consume music, there isn't as much emphasis placed on that exact care and attention to detail as albums, but it makes me so hype for the moment that you're like, this is my debut album. Like, that shit's gonna be tight. It's gonna be awesome. You care, you know? Like, you're telling a story. You are a person who, from what I can tell, loves storytelling, like, appreciate all of this, like, world building, and that's really cool. And I just had a conversation with, you know, Sam Gellatry and his music.
Oh my God, yes. Love him.
Right? So good.
I love him.
Yeah, so good, right? Same.
Yeah.
He had the same response. He just released something called the Viewfinder Volume 2 mixtape. Everyone go listen to it. Very good. And I was like, why is it a mixtape? Why isn't it an album? Same exact response. He was like, because it's just too scattered. It's all these songs. They don't tell one cohesive story. And I'm just like, I love that. That's such a
Well,
good
it's
answer.
so true. Well, because I'm kind of like you as well. Like, I care so much about my favorite albums, and if I'm going to take on that challenge of making one, I guess I would want it to be as much of a storytelling experience as my favorite albums. And this, like, I think Second Nature is fucking amazing.
I can't wait. Everything that I've heard from it is so awesome, and it sounds like you're like really hitting this awesome stride. Like in the last few years, it seems like what Ninajirachi, the project, can be and is about and can explore has like really expanded and found itself. I don't know. Do you feel that way? Like.
Yeah, I think so. For sure. Like, I think on this Second Nature mixtape, there's just a bit of everything that I do on there, which I think is, and it doesn't even encompass everything that, like, that's more my discography. But, right. But like, it's got a lot of different stuff on there, and it's very like. When I'm saying it's not an album, I'm not saying it's like not as good as an album could be. Like, I think the songs are fantastic and like my best work, but it's more just the way they work together, if that makes sense.
Yes,
just
it does.
They're a little bit scattered. If I had like another year, I could maybe turn it into something that, like, I could weave a story through it, but like,
get it out there.
Get
it out there. Listen,
I'm trying to move on from
Start small. Go to the bigger project down the road.
Exactly. Oh, that's actually kind of a fun fact, and kind of back to Start Small. So originally Petroleum was going to be the first single from this thing, but then I made Start Small, and I was like, it's called Start Small. It can't not be...
Oh, the start.
Song.
Yeah. It literally says beginning in the title. You have to do it. I want to hear what your favorite albums are as a front to back listening experience, because you do care about albums, and I'd love to hear what your favorite, what are the top tier for you that you take a lot of inspiration from as far as what an album can be?
I would say Alt J, one of the British band Alt J are one of my favorite acts ever, and their first two, I love all of their music, but their first two albums, An Awesome Wave and This Is All Yours in particular, are so close to my heart. I've started listening to them when I was in my first year of high school. I think that was when their first album came out, and I think, I don't know, even though it's band music, they use rhythm and percussion in a really interesting way that I think has informed a lot of my production. And even though to me, I think a lot of their lyrics are quite nonsensical. Maybe there's a meaning there that I haven't deciphered and I've been a bit ignorant, but to me, a lot of their lyrics seem a little nonsensical, but they still kind of tell this story, and it is such a cohesive, like, I will never just go to their albums and put on a song. Maybe I will, like, every now and then, but not really, you know what I mean? They're not like song albums to me, they're really things that I listen to in one kind of, I'll put it on and just like listen to it, and I do that like at least once a month with those albums. I love them.
Awesome.
So much. But also, obviously, Worlds by Porter Robinson was like
what a concept album there. Yeah, that one's game changer for everybody, you know? Like, that was just a game changer, period.
100%. So that, and then, or probably also, like, I don't know if I would, I'd say in terms of like formative albums for me, Flume's first album as well, especially because like, he's Australian and like was such a big deal here. So like, I think all of the little Australian producer kids like all will just love Flume forever, because you can't not.
Oh my god, he was at Portola.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh God, that would have been so fun.
He was one of the headliners, and I put a clip of him talking in the vlog, because I just happened to be filming when he was like, I'm so sorry. First of all, I was going to do the Australian accent. I guess I still will, but it'll be terrible. Terrible. He was like, I'll play a lot of festivals. I'm like Scottish for some reason. I play a lot of festivals, and this is kind of my dream lineup. And I was just like, yeah, it's great. So it was cute. I don't know. Sorry, Flume.
That is amazing. No, that accent was great. I loved it.
Good day. I'm done. Just kill myself.
Yeah.
Oh my god. The Scottish Australian, yes, Swedish Tay Mafia. That was my Scottish Australian for you. You heard it here first, exclusive Catcalls content. I love what you had to say too about Alt J and their nonsensical lyrics. I love a nonsensical lyric, but it made me think. I wanted to ask you what you have taken from the art of lyric writing, because you are now writing and singing on your own songs, and that is a whole nother part of being an artist. And like, you know, it's one thing to create the music, but then you're almost like, yeah, you're peeling up, it's like another personal element. So what have you learned about yourself and about songwriting with this next chapter of your career?
Yeah, I think this has been for me, this has been like one of the biggest hurdles to overcome. And I think people who have found my music in the last year or even 2 years know me as Ninajirachi, the singer who produces her music sometimes.
Oh, interesting. Really like you're singer first, producer second.
Yeah. And it's really interesting. Sometimes I'll get DMs and they'll be like, hey, I just found your music. I really love it. Like, do you produce it as well? And
wow.
Like, that's obviously such a compliment, but it's so crazy to me because I perceive myself so differently to that. And it's like producing is the main swag, like here, you know what I mean? So it's just so interesting when it comes across that way. And obviously, like anyone who likes my music, I'm grateful for that. Like it's cool. It's cool.
Yeah. But, you're like just keep playing it. It's all good. Whatever you take from it is right.
Yeah, but basically I started writing, because when I was making GarageBand songs and stuff when I was a kid, I was also writing songs and writing lyrics back then. And obviously they weren't that deep because I was a kid. But I did start doing that. And then when I started getting really into production when I was in high school, it sort of took a backseat and it wasn't really something I thought about. Also because I was a teenager and I was going through that phase of like pop music is lame. Like, pop music sucks.
You were highbrow. You were like, I don't know, guys. Have you heard Flume? No.
Yeah. So I was going through that. So I just sort of took a back seat for a while. And then when I started working with Coda Banks in 2019.
That shit's hot too, everybody in the chat. If you don't know about it, you need to listen to it.
Yeah, check out True North by Ninajirachi and Coda Banks, the collaborative. It was basically a mixtape as well in a way. It's like 10 songs, so there's a lot of songs on there. But yeah, I started working with her. Another kind of thing brought together by Nina, who's the best, introduced us, and we started making all of this music. And she is obviously she's an amazing singer. Like you can hear her voice is amazing. But for anyone who's never been in the studio with Coda Banks, she is so fast and so prolific and so clever and witty and interesting and good at writing pop music. Like she is just so fast. Like I'll be working on something and in half an hour she's like, all right, can you, like I'm putting this down. She's so fast.
Damn.
And it's always good. So I was working with her like non-stop for a year on this project. So I got very good at producing vocals and comping, because she's more particular than most artists with how her vocals are comped and processed, which is a good thing because she's like very in control. But I kind of learned a lot from her, I guess, from doing that. And obviously we were like kind of co-writing together, like we would work on the lyrics together, and like that kind of part of my upbringing kind of came back. And then I'm not like a singer, you know what I mean? Like I can produce my vocals and make them sound okay in a track, but I would never get on a stage and sing a cappella. Like it would just, it's not me.
Yeah.
But basically.
Never say never.
You never know. But I kind of learned to produce my vocals. So then I started writing, from working with her a lot, I started writing my own songs again. And then in early 2020, like very early 2020, I wrote this song called A Light. And it was just like so special to me and one of my favorite things I'd ever done. Like it really felt so magical. Writing this song. It happened in like under an hour, and I showed it to Coda and she was like, oh, you have to sing it. Like you can't put some, like I had recorded my voice and she's like, oh, you have to like put this out. Like, so I just fixed up my vocals, and that was the first time I really felt like I am a songwriter. Because it was the first song I'd written in my adult life that I felt like was really good.
That's so awesome. That's so cool. Were you nervous and excited? Were you just dying at the same time? Were you like, ah?
I was like, by the time the song came out, I was really confident about it. Like, I just kind of knew that it was really good. But I think it was when I first wrote it and I was first showing it to people that was really scary. Like, that was terrifying. But then once I kind of had the approval of like the people in my immediate circle, I was like, oh, I don't care what anyone else thinks of this.
Right? Yo, for real. I can do anything in front of a group of strangers, but oh man, I mean, you ask me to do that in front of all the people I love and respect, and it gets a little scarier.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly how it was.
Which is weird, right? But that's the way it goes. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh
100%.
man, amazing. Okay, we're coming up on an hour. I honestly feel like I could chat with you for a whole nother hour, but I want to make sure there's space for if there's anything else about the Second Nature. You know, it's funny, I usually have folks on the program when their big project has just come out or is out, you know, but there's so many wonderful tracks. All three, Start Small, Petroleum, Angel Type, those are all from Second Nature, the mixtape, right?
Yeah, and Hidden Land, the B-side.
Okay, amazing.
Yeah.
So there are 4 of the 12 songs currently available for streaming and hearing. But is there anything else about the process of this mixtape? It's your debut solo mixtape, maybe. That you want to share, that you want to make sure people know, or not make sure, but just like share with folks before it comes out, or do you need to keep all the fun secrets to yourself? Because
Nah, I mean, I'm happy to talk about it. It's out in less than a month, so
it's real soon.
I'm ready to let it go, so like I'm very happy to talk about it. It's 12 songs, and they're all a little bit different, but they all kind of work together in a way. And I think as well, for people who don't know my music, I just really want you to know that like this is my writing and my production, and in most of the songs, my mixing as well.
Fuck yeah!
I'm so proud of that, and I think a lot of the time, I would like, and people obviously have no malice when they see, but they see like a girl using her voice on a track and assume that someone else produced it, and I just really want people to know that I'm a producer before anything else, and I'm so proud of that. So enjoy the production.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, your production is like, I personally just love a textured jam, and like your shit is so textured and so fun to listen to. I don't know, it's just like more fun for your ears when there's a lot of different levels and things going on to like tune into. And
thank you.
Yeah, it's very,
so
and I was saying in the intro that I was muted for, so you didn't hear me, but I'll say it to your face, and your ears. You just have such a wonderful way of creating something that both feels really delicate and graceful, but then is also very forceful and like can get a little bit violent, and it's just like such a delicate balance to strike, I think, and have both of those feelings and atmospheres kind of come through. So like, fucking hats off.
Thank you.
It's really awesome, and everyone should recognize that you are doing that, because that is some shit, and it is dope. And like, yeah, I don't know, there's a cohesion. Like you said, you can do so many different things, but the cohesive elements to the production is you, right? Like, you are the one doing it, and that is tight, and that's why you have a sound that is distinctive to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That is really nice.
Yeah. Well, it's all real. Facts.
Thank you.
I did mean to ask you, since we were talking about the songwriting now, is there a song that you're most proud of in terms of the lyricism and the songwriting? What is that?
Yes. Yeah, there are 2 I want to shout out, but one in particular. The second last track is called Can't Wake Up, and it was the first song. There's 2 songs on there that I produced. There's a few songs on there that I produced with friends. And I made this song with my friend Lucien, and this was the first song I made in a session where I was just top lining and he was producing. So that was really strange experience for me. This was like a couple of years ago, but the song's kind of finally coming out. I've worked on the production since, but that was a cool one for that experience, and he is so talented, and it was love working with him. The main one though I want to shout out is this song called Things I Never Knew. I think it's track 3, and it's another song that's like kind of just quite personal to me, and I really like the lyrics. And it was one of those songs that like took a bit to get it right. Like I didn't know if it was going to be on this project for like ages, and then I pulled it together in the last minute. But I'm very, very proud of
Good.
that.
I'm glad you got it together. Yeah, I can't wait. I'm so excited, and it's great to get inside your mind a little bit. We have one more question I want to throw out there, because you said Australia is all about community. So who are your favorite Aussie electronic acts and Aussie musicians in general? Who do we need to be up on? Maybe we're up on them already, maybe we're not.
There are so many. Like I'm gonna insult so many people by not mentioning them just now. But I would just say I would like mainly shout out my friends, I guess, that I've worked with for years.
Yeah, throw out your friends, bro. Throw the friends' names in there.
Laces and Kenta 204 from the Loner crew in Melbourne.
Kenta 204 is on Angel Type?
Yes, he is. They're both, and Laces co-produced Petroleum as well.
Oh, sweet.
So they're like my really good friends from like when I met them online when I was like a teenager. And Coda Banks, obviously, Nina Las Vegas, Swick, oh my god, there's so many. Oh boy, Donatachi, Lonely Spec, Dane, there's so many. Check those out. And
I will.
Look at the related artists, and Australia's got so much going on at the moment. It's amazing.
It's so cool. Well, I'm so glad that you are staying close to home and tapped into that network and that energy, and I'm very excited for you to come over to the US and have your Second Sky experience. Is there anything else you're doing while you're coming to the States that you already have planned that you know you're excited for?
Well, I'm gonna be there for when Second Nature comes out, so I'm gonna hopefully have a rager.
Yes, you gotta have a rager! Oh my god, that's exciting.
Yeah, but I'm just gonna see what happens. Hopefully eat lots of vegan food. The vegan situation in LA is like on another level. So
yeah, they like basically invented health food. Like LA is the motherland. I know it's not the motherland of veganism and things like that. Shout out India or whatever. But like, yeah, the vegan food is on another level for sure. Oh well, I feel like there was one other thing maybe I was gonna say and I don't remember what it was. But oh yes, I remember. So you said that Petroleum is your favorite visual. And I do have that, so I will play that after we hang up the call here. But tell us why Petroleum is your favorite visual and what makes it so special.
Well, I made it with my boyfriend, who's an amazing
Shout out your boyfriend. Shout out that boyfriend videographer. Girlfriend editor, superstar, let's go.
He actually edited this one as well.
Nice.
But yeah, we made it. We were on a road trip actually through the US at the start of this year, in January and February. So we drove from LA to Denver and then flew back and went to Yosemite and we just went to so many places. It was so amazing.
Beautiful.
We basically we would literally drive, see a cool mountain or like a cool land formation and be like, all right, let's stop the car, put on some cool clothes. I had one cool outfit because we were road tripping, so I had like one suitcase. So, and we would just film something there, and we just came back to Australia and had all this footage, and he edited it all together. But it was just so fun and so special, and like all of the landscapes were so amazing. We did shoot a little bit in Australia. There was like one scene in the Blue Mountains, which was really cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, just like trip of a lifetime, and I'm so glad it's captured in this music video. So
that's so rad. I love it. We've gotta memorialize our best memories. They matter, and I'm sure it was inspiring. At any time I've driven across the United States a couple times going east to west, and it is like insane, just the amount of topographies, and that does make me proud to be an American. There's a lot of things that don't. And then you drive through the country and you're like, God damn, it's really pretty here.
Oh, it's so beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so much. Yeah.
There's so much. There's still so much that you didn't see. You have to come back and you have to do more.
Yeah.
Do more. We'll all call our local promoters here stateside and tell them that when Second Nature drops, we need some Ninajirichi dates on our fucking clubs. We gotta get you here, girl. Gotta get you here. America. There's a lot of it. Joey Headset says that's our slogan. There's a lot of it. It's true. Well, Nina, thank you so very much for coming on the program. I would love to welcome you back anytime. I feel like there's still a lot we could chat about, but it's been such a pleasure to hear your perspective and share your music, and just you're doing great. I'm so excited to see where you go in the future, and I'm so excited to hear all of Second Nature. It's going to be awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me. This has been so fun. And thanks, chat as well. I can't see you guys, but like, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah.
It's been sick.
Have a great Friday. I hope it was a great start to your Friday. You can just run with this energy for the rest of the day.
I will. This has been the best. Thank you.
Bye.